You remember this? So Fauci had given money to do experiments on dogs, and they were horrible experiments. And bipartisan legislators demand answers from Fauci on cruel puppy experiments. You remember this?
Yeah. We were trying to see if we could make some kids cry, and it was a success.
Our investigators show that Fauci's NIH division shipped part of $375,000 grant to a lab in Tunisia to drug beagles and lock their heads in mesh cages filled with hungry sandflies so that the insects could eat them alive. So that's the kind of stuff that scientists do. You know, scientists, they're always good people. Scientists are fucking maniacs, okay? Just like anybody else. You know who did all those experiments on the people in the concentration camps? Scientists, doctors.
It's science we still use to this day, a lot of it.
Yeah. So the White Coat Project, which is a nonprofit organization, they're the ones who told everybody about this, that Fauci was doing that. They also locked beagles alone in cages in the desert overnight for 9 consecutive nights and used them as bait to attract infectious sandflies. This is what scientists do. For science. That's what psychopaths do. Remember what Jon Stewart said on Stephen Colbert? Hey, curiosity killed the cat. Scientists say, well, then let's kill 10,000 cats to figure out how it happens. According to the White Coat Waste Project, the Food and Drug Administration doesn't even require drugs to be tested on dogs. So the group was asking, why the need for the testing? So here's who they are. White Coat Waste Project, this is their Twitter handle, and they started that hashtag beaglegate. And well, we got some good news. We canceled Dr. Fauci's taxpayer-funded dog tests. Thanks to White Coat Waste for your help in exposing the egregious waste. Who tweeted that out? Frickin' Joni Ernst.
Who's that?
She's that senator or congresswoman from Iowa, eh? And she's for everything bad. She's against, right? But guess what? She likes dogs.
Yeah, right.
So I would disagree with Joni Ernst, I think, on everything except this. And so guess what White Coat Waste did? They decided to couch this in a way that attracted people on both sides of the aisle because it's not a partisan issue. Fauci cancels 1.8 million drug testing on beagle puppies. In a letter to Senator Joni Ernst, and so she is a senator, and promoted by the White Coat Waste Project, Fauci said that instead of dogs, the new hay fever drug will be tested on rodents.
Why were they using dogs in the first place?
So how much of a victory really is that, though? You're still torturing another animal. And why were they using dogs in the first place? Why was that your first go-to? Hey, let's torture dogs.
Is that the only way to test a hay fever drug? Is to have your face eaten by flies? By the way,
who knows? I think this might be another thing.
Oh.
Although the contract to Inimmune Corporation proposed the use of murine and canine preclinical animal models. Do you see how these assholes talk? So you can't understand what they're saying? You mean so they would use dogs? So that says, although the contract said we could torture dogs, that's what they're saying. After consultation with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the company elected to proceed using 2 rodent models, wrote Fauci. So Fauci wrote to the White Coat people directly. No experiments utilizing the canine model are being conducted under this contract.
And we're supposed to believe him. Why?
So we're supposed to believe him. Devin Murphy with the White Coat Waste Project added, we're thrilled that the following White Coat Waste Project's latest Beaglegate investigation and outstanding advocacy by Senator Joni Ernst, Dr. Fauci's 1.8 million runny nose experiments on beagle puppies have been completely canceled. This is a decisive victory in the war on waste and sends a message to big spending white coats across the federal government. Taxpayers should not be forced to pay for wasteful, unnecessary, and cruel experiments on puppies and other animals. But you are still paying it. It's on rodents. Does that mean like rats and mice?
That's what marine means.
So is that really a victory? So, I don't know. I bet mice and rats can be pretty friendly, and you can teach them tricks, right?
Well, I am pretty numb to the suffering of mice. I'll tell you that. From living in New York 20 years, you'd be surprised how numb you get to glue traps and.
When I was when I stayed in New York doing the marijuana lugs, I stayed in an apartment that had a mouse. And every night I would see the mouse come out and he would run. And he got to be like my little buddy. I didn't feed him or anything.
Well, when you find mouse shit in your food,
yeah, I know. Then you find mouse shit in your food. You can't have it. I know. When I moved to LA, so I saw droppings in my apartment. So I called the exterminator. I think I got a mouse. He goes, "That's a rat." I go, "I have a rat in my apartment?" And he says, "Yeah." I'm like, "How's a rat getting in?" Well, the doors, I had like that much fucking room underneath my door to the outside. So boom, he can come right in.
They can like collapse their skeleton to fit. They're horrible. Yeah. They're horrible creatures. I mean, but as a pet, they're pretty smart. If you get, like people get those white rats as pets, they're very intelligent. You can name them and stuff.
So I had to get rid of that pet. I can't have a pet coming in my house at night and giving me diseases, shitting on my food. I wake up, there was rat droppings on my bedspread, and I was like, uh-oh. At night, he would come in my bed. So I had to get rid of him.
He shit in your bed like Amber Heard?
Like Amber Heard. And then accused me of violence. That rat was calling me washed up. Said, "You're an old man." Oh, go tell everybody a rat hit you. Go ahead.
Tell the world.
Tell Jimmy. The world, Jimmy, that a little half-pound rat hit you. Glenn Greenwald says, what white coat waste has accomplished is a model of political success. By framing the issue of animal welfare, a cause which resonates for politicians on the right and left, as one of the government-funded cruelty, they enable both parties to unite and end these gruesome acts. Now, there's people who actually were saying, you're supposed to work with Joni Ernst, who hates immigrants and hates the homeless. Yes, you're supposed, but she doesn't hate puppies, so you can work with her on this. That's called how you work on things. I literally saw people saying that to Glenn.
Was it Bette Midler? She better not be. Bette Midler saying, don't work with.
This is what one does if one wants to actually win. Find ways to make your cause transcend dreary, archaic right-left boxes. So many causes appeal to humans as humans, not partisan cartoons. But there's so much incentive in media and activism to keep people divided and lose. That's right. So when we did Force the Vote, you saw the people like David Sirota, people like Ryan Grimm, people like Cenk Uygur, the Young Turks. You saw the people who wanted to keep us divided, lied to us, gaslit us, protected politicians, smeared activists. You saw it. We experienced it. I experienced it. By the way, a year ago, NIH Director Francis Collins. So this, just to let you know who these people are. You think Fauci doesn't fund stuff like that with glee? When it was found, so when Fauci found out that there was a group of other scientists who were smarter than him, who came up with a better idea on how to fight COVID, he had people write smear pieces about those scientists in magazines. That's what this is. A year ago, the NIH director, Francis Collins, asked Fauci to do a devastating published takedown of the Great Barrington Declaration. That was that paper from all those scientists smarter than Fauci who had a better idea on how to deal with COVID. And so what did they do? Instead of having the debate, they had their minions in the corporate press write smear pieces on the people who wrote the Great Barrington Declaration. So that's the kind of people Fauci is. And that's the kind of people at the NIH. That's the kind of people in government. That's the kind of people in the media. That's what we're up against.
people should not be walking around with masks.
Let me just state for the record that masks are not theater.
Wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and
Masks are protective,
but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
There has not been any indication that putting a mask on and wearing a mask for a considerable period of time has any deleterious effects.
There are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
You do not need to wear a mask indoors if, in fact, you've been vaccinated. Good that you're vaccinated, but in a situation where you have people indoors, particularly crowded, you should wear a mask.
So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask.
That if, in fact, you are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you are protected, and you do not need to wear a mask outdoors or indoors.
When the children go out into the community, you want them to continue to wear masks.
You know, if you look at children outside, particularly when they're with the family, walking down the street, playing a game or what have you, don't have to wear a mask.
The Academy of Pediatric actually makes that recommendation that children should be wearing masks from 2 years old onward.
And you're asking now, if your child is a member of your household, can you walk outdoors with your child without a mask? According to that chart, the answer is yes.
But the child can't, not to beat it to death.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Because now the CDC says, I mean, I think I've got this right. One mask is better than 0 masks. 2 masks is better than 1 mask. But you don't have to have double masks. Is that right? I mean,
you know, it became clear that cloth coverings that you didn't have to buy in a store, that you could make yourself, were adequate.
And then you want it to fit better. So one of the ways you could do it, if you would like to, is put a cloth mask over, which actually here and here and here, where you could get leakage in, is much better contained.
are you a double masker, Dr. Fauci? It looked like you are.
He's not even a single masker.
You know, they should, you know what clear up the confusion of this? They should do all his interviews in profile so you can see his nose length on his dumb Pinocchio head.
And there's people, I know comedians with YouTube shows who don't have one fucking video critical of that guy. I know people who have YouTube shows who are comedians who don't have one fucking video critical of that guy. Hey, it's okay you didn't know the science at first and you were wrong about everything. It's not okay still. It's not okay. That's not okay. You want to force people to take an experimental treatment and you don't know anything about it, and you don't care that this guy's been lying his ass off since the beginning of this. He's been lying his ass off since he got in government in the 80s. Look up fucking the AIDS crisis, what Dr. Fauci did. Still not a critique, not a video with a critique of him. And you call yourself A, a comedian, and B, a truth teller? You're neither of those things. You're a scared, selfish, self-involved person who doesn't have the integrity or honor to admit when you were fucking wrong. That's what that is.
Well, I, for one, forgive Andy Kindler. Guy's my friend. I don't...
Here we're going to Sacramento, back here in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Indianapolis, Louisville, Cincinnati, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all our shows.